What's happening, guys? Safety Liner C2 here. We're going to do a real quick lots of lots. Only one lot to show you, but it has got an extremely rare bus in it, and I had to show this off. So let's take a look. We are in Early Mart, California, April 2022. As you can see, this is a pretty typical California lot now. Starting with the RE on the right, notice that there is the little circle turning signals. I never really cared for those. And on the right, I don't care for these as much either. The stacked taillights with the super small, I believe they're 7-inch lights on the back. I don't care for these at all. To the left of that is a CE. There is understorage on it, and there are strobes on all three of these buses as well. In the front, there are two HDXs. Pretty typical California HDX, nothing real special about them. There's understorage on the one on the right, so I assume that that's also on the left one. There is an A3RE right next to that. And right here on the end, there is a Thomas ER. This would be from the early 90s. Take a look at the Thomas logo in the front. The age can also be shown by the fact that there are only 4 warning lights on this bus. And notice that there are stacked tail lights on the back of this Thomas. It's a very uncommon option, not one that I've seen that often, but it definitely fits in with the fleet there because I'm pretty sure all of the ICs, even though IC wasn't even around when this bus was made, have a very similar back taillight setup. Jumping to March 2013, the only thing we can see in the lot is this little Collins Ford. Just figured I'd include that. And potato quality, October 2007, we can see that Thomas ER over on the left. What appears to be a Carpenter 3800, 2 Supercoaches, and what appears to be a Super 2 in the background. And that is where our rare bus comes in. We're in June 2016 now, where we can actually see a decent view of this bus. You can see that there is understorage on this. There's also a strobe light at the top, and the stop sign in the back. It looks like a typical Super 2, right? Well, it's not. If you notice, right behind the driver's window, this is not a Super 2. This is a Carpenter RE. So let's talk about this for a minute. Maybe you've seen school buses labeled as Crowns that are, well, not stereotypical Crown school buses. Stuff like that would include Crown 3800s, Crown FEs, Crown FS65s, but they're not Crown Supercoaches. So Carpenter bought out Crown in 1991 when they were going out of business. When Carpenter bought Crown, they had decided that they wanted to bring back the Carpenter Corsair basically in the body of a Super 2, which resulted in this bus. Now, Carpenter was already struggling financially, and they would end up closing, like 10 years later, but this thing was just super expensive to make, and because it was so expensive to make, it cost a lot. And when it costs a lot, and there are cheaper alternatives, districts are going to go with that, especially because they were a lot more popular alternatives than this. So this specific body style only lasted for like a year before they realized, and I'm sure they realized this before, okay, we're losing a lot of money, it's time to do something a little bit cheaper. And that's whenever they moved over to the Counselor body style, which they had been using for the FE. So because this bus was very expensive, because this bus was only around for a year, give or take, and because the Crown Supercoach 2s and Supers were, built for the West Coast, these didn't really sell all that much aside from a handful in the West Coast. Now, that's not to say they didn't make it elsewhere. I believe that there were a couple of these somewhere in Pennsylvania. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly positive that a couple of these made it outside of the West Coast. But if you find one of these, chances are you're probably somewhere on the West Coast. And if I had to guess, there were less than 100 of these made. So to see one of these Carpenter Coach REs, Carpenter Super 2s, whatever you want to call it, if you see one of these in person, you're really lucky. You can also tell that this is a Carpenter based off of the doors on the inside. Those are stereotypical doors, and on the Super 2s, they would just have the one singular door that opened up. and these would just open out like a normal school bus. You can also see where they changed a little bit on the back. This would not have been a typical Super 2 setup. This actually looks more like a Gillig to me, but I'm pretty positive that the stacked taillights like this were standard. Now, if you've been around Super 2s in person, there might be something throwing you off. The fact that there are 8-ways and the fact that the 8-ways are round on this bus. I don't know, when I think of a Super 2, I hardly ever think of 8-ways on the bus, although they are out there, and you definitely don't think about them with the round warning lights. But this isn't a Super 2, this is a Carpenter RE. This bus also happens to have one of my favorite specs, tinted windows and black window posts. I think that this really completes the look for this bus. And yeah, so when I saw that, I just really wanted to share that with y'all. So let's finish taking a look at the rest of the lot from this time, and we'll wrap it up from there. So over in the garage on the far left, you can see that there is an HDX in there. There is one of the REs, that ER, another RE, and the A3 down on the end. Over in the garage right there, we can see that there's some sort of Type A. And last but not least, here's a Crown Supercoach. Let me also just say I love the font on there, and notice that there is a strobe light on top. Very unusual spec on a Super. And there's the two of them, the Crown Supercoach and the Carpenter RE. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I thought that was I was blown away when I saw this. I did not expect to see that at all. And I just really wanted to share that with y'all because it's such an unusual find. And on that note, if you have an unusual find, you should throw it in my video request form in the description of any one of my videos. It can be for lots of lots, it can be bust up for sale, or it can be picture form. And hey, the more unique it is, the more likely I am to feature it. I'll take a look at anything y'all send me though. Anyways, that is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe right down here. It's a magical red button that says you are now subscribed to Safety Liner C2. Make sure you comment up here, down here, over here, or over here. I don't know where they put it, down here where they put it. Make sure you also give this video a thumbs up, or we're never going to see one of those Carpenter REs again. And make sure you also share this video with a friend, show it to your mom, show it to your dad, show it to a guy in a random street. I don't care, don't let anything happen to you. So yeah guys, that's gonna do it for this video, and thanks for watching.